Yeah, guys, I have seen this locally. Okay. Listen, you should definitely be in school. You should not be protesting specifically something as moderately irrelevant as this here. But again, that's just my overall opinion here. But again, you do have your First Amendment. You can do whatever you want, but you should technically be in school, right, at certain times. But let's see where this takes us immediately. Let's jump into it. This is a suggestion via each channel member. Name of the video here is Failing Schools Allowing Students to Skip Class to Protest ICE. Let's encounter this, guys.
Over the last week, high schools across the nation have given permission to their students to ditch class and go protest ICE. Yep. Forget about that education you're going to need for the rest of your life. Just go fuel some hate, would you? Well, those schools have failing academic records in math and English. North Central High in Indiana, 14% of students are proficient in math. 24% proficient in English.
Okay.
Roosevelt High in Chicago, a little bit over 22% proficient in English.
Wowzers.
With a dismal 7% proficient in math. And at Tolson Union High School in Arizona, 20% proficient in math, 25% proficient in English. That's according to the state's Department of Education Comprehensive School Report Card System.
Okay.
And Fresno High School in California, under 10% proficient in math, just under 38% proficient in English.
Bro, with how they talk in California, I figured that would be higher.
So far, 2 schools have responded. Here we are from Tolson Union High.
Okay.
The district superintendent told Outnumbered, quote, "We provided the full context of our knowledge of the student protest to parents and the local municipalities prior to the walkout. Our teachers are not equipped or authorized to restrain 30 teenagers from walking out of their classroom. The ACT is a college admissions exam, not a proficiency exam. Our schools are all as and BS on A's and B's." Okay, I don't know what.
Oh, no. They're going to meme that right now. Listen, Harris, you were about to get clipped. Okay. Because you can't make fun of somebody and then pull that off. But I guess it also says at the same time, like how comfortable and confident they basically are with speaking from teleprompters, and generally whatever they're saying really has nothing to do with what they actually feel. It's just a script.
What they spelled there, but Arizona's comprehensive letter grade system, and one of our schools has ranked nationally as high as 21. A spokesperson from Chicago, the other school system we talked to.
Is that a good thing? 21.
For students to participate in planned civic actions, including walkouts or protests,
okay,
for a period of time during the school day, according to CPS guidance. None of them above 50%, Molly. Not one in math or reading.
Yeah, and I think part of the issue here is actually the free speech rights of students. They don't leave their free speech rights completely at the door when they get into the high school, but they're also not supposed to be disruptive. So the school's put in a pretty awkward position. The other thing I think worth noting about this is how
that's what people are getting arrested for in Georgia.
Are by this issue that's unfolding. What they're protesting in this particular case are ICE detentions, and in some of the schools there are students that they know that are detained and in ICE and facing a whole new future. You know, it's their friends. So many of them just feel it very personally. And I think that's worth noting and maybe listening a little bit to this.
Yeah, this definitely feels like anecdotal evidence here, guys. I mean, when I say that many of them know someone, no. This is pure groupthink mentality. They're young. They're trying to be cool. They think, again, the cool thing is to basically be as outrageously disruptive as humanly possible. They follow what the adults are doing basically in Minnesota. That's kind of what's going on here. Do I think many of them have a close tie to someone that has been deported or in ICE custody? No. At all. I don't think that at all, guys.
Students. But at the same time, you can't let it get out of hand, and the schools have to step in before it becomes problematic. In that particular school, they're talking about having a window where students are allowed to participate, maybe get them back in the classroom as quickly, let them blow off steam. I don't know what the right answer is, but I know America's youth are worth listening to. And I think it's a challenge for schools. But I don't know that a walkout is necessarily going to improve or cause major problems in their math or English. That's probably a greater challenge.
Would you side for maybe a communication inside the classroom, which is what Molly is saying, and offering that as an alternative to a walkout? Do you think those kids would go for that?
No. What are you doing? What is going on? You're basically telling little Billy and Susie from Illinois to Fresno, California, hey, listen, you're dumb as a bag of rocks because you can't do basic arithmetic and reading and English and math,
my God.
but yet you're going to be a great social justice warrior.
Right.
Get out there and lean in. That is a recipe.
I suspect that's the majority of them anyway, but either way,
For disaster for
again,
life.
critical
It's a
thinking
recipe for
issues.
disaster for the college educators who are saying we're getting these kids that can't get anywhere near the proficiency levels they need to be prepared to enter college. Look, at the end of the day, I understand the young people's passions, but educators leaning into social justice messages and
Because they
getting out there
think
makes
the
no
same
sense.
as them.
If you asked the 7% proficient Chicago kids or the 9.5% proficient kids in Fresno to literally try and compute the percentage ratio of ICE agents on the street to illegal criminal aliens in your community, they wouldn't come in. There's no way they could do it. I just
Because
can't
they don't know
believe
math.
that these schools continue to lean into
I get
this.
it.
We already learned this lesson. We've got to prepare kids for college. That's the point of high school.
Okay, yeah, not everyone needs to go to college, guys. Look, I agree kind of to a certain extent here, but I think everyone needs to obviously do something with their life here, obviously. In fact, do not be a drain on society, right? But I would not suggest everyone in 2026, everyone up here is starting to show their age if they're in agreement with that here. This is not the 1980s. This is not the 1990s, guys. Most of these kids need to go to trade schools, specifically based off of the level, let's say, of education that some of them do have, and thought processes that they potentially have or not, right? They need to go to trades, guys. Send them to trades. Do things with your hands. Learn to do something that's going to be absolutely beneficial kind of in the future that you may not need to use your brain for, because I'm not sure you actually have the brain capacity to, do anything more than what you're basically doing here, guys.
This is tricky, though, because what we've seen here in New York, Kaylee, is that sometimes people are protesting. They don't even know what the signs say. They're out there. They
Right.
have joined the crowd.
Right.
And some of these
Groupthink.
kids were,
Sheep.
getting educations, 120 grand a year, and they still didn't really understand what the cause was. They couldn't find, Palestinians in Gaza and Israel on a map. You've heard me say that. But they were out there and causing disruption. So this could be that, too. So what do you say?
Yeah, for sure. And that's
I'd say
something that we
90% of it
found
is
student protests are
groupthink,
organized or
TikTok
paid
mentality.
for. Don't know about the students, but we know that we have seen that in other liberal protests across the country. Look, I think this is purely academics come second to activism. So activism over academics is what we're seeing. In this case, it's ICE. But we should not be surprised because America's children are always sacrificed on the altar of whatever political point the left is trying to make. And we saw this very clearly during COVID. The data was clear. In-person learning is fine for young kids who are barely affected by COVID-19, and yet they kept children home as they tried to make a political point. And research from Arizona State University finds they're only halfway towards recovering academically, and in fact are about 13% down when they looked at fourth grade math proficiency. So we should not be surprised, however, because this is not an aberration saying, hey, academic scores come second to protesting ICE. This is the modus operandi of the left.
Sandra.
You can make the case also for gender changes and
there you go.
Boys and girls sports. Look, I think we all have spectacular school teachers in our lives. I know that I'm one of them. I have a sister who works outside the Chicago area, and every single day is a challenge to get kids in the classroom. You ask teachers what is the most important thing, it is to have those kids right there in front of you where they can learn. So to suggest somehow that they're doing so great that they can take time away to go take to the streets, this stuck out to me. This was North Central, a student from North Central High School in Indianapolis, Indiana, who said they can't really stop us from using our voices. And today we did. Everyone did. That's so magical, said the student. And I'm thinking, teachers, listen to what they're saying. They're looking to belong. They're looking to have their voices heard. Funnel that somehow. Take that, do something with that in the classroom. Help them to become incredible speakers, incredible writers about what it is they're so passionate about. But there's certainly something there, too. They're looking to belong to a group, to something, to believe in something, to find that magic. And they're kids, and that's why it's our responsibility as adults to take them and help them prosper.
Okay, yeah. Hold the phone here, buddy. And this is kind of why I said earlier, listen to children. No, for what? Like, what is nothing? Personally, this is going to sound crazy here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not sure you have anything relevant to say before the age of 30. Like now, I mean, many years ago, I'd have probably said 20. if that makes any sense here. Like back when there was like sanity out there, guys, right? But like in the 90s and 2000s, I would have probably said 23, 4, or somewhere in there. That you may have something to say, right? Because at least you were still, for the most part, an individual, not just a drone being led by your septum piercing like a bull or something, right? No, okay. But now, guys, what's really important here is that, yes, teachers are definitely important here in your kid's life because that's basically the person that they're going to be around. But understand this here, that's only a small portion of who your kid is going to be here, guys, right? I can only give you my anecdotal evidence specifically here. I have a son that's in school specifically, and what the teachers are teaching him are decent, right? But I mean, obviously, my kid is in first grade and he's already doing square roots, and he can tell me all the planets. He can kind of speak pretty heavily about gravity and understands the like the displacement of time through gravity and things like this here, guys. I mean, he is it's important. Teachers are important, definitely, but they're only with your kids for a certain amount of time. You are definitely, in fact, responsible for rearing your child, right? So how much of the children that are basically doing these things also have parents that were also reared in the same way, where they had no one actually active and intelligent at home to basically teach them the ability to critically think, right? This is a problem that has been a problem for decades now, right? So the idea of listening to these people that are basically being brought up in this, TikTok short form, black square activism, hashtag activism type of world that we are currently in. How valuable is that, bro? I'm not listening to nothing they're saying. Not really. Like, I mean, not at all. I at least want you to hit the age of 30. Hopefully I want you to have a kid, married. Basically all of these things, you're working towards your life. You're paying taxes, not specifically receiving taxes back at the end of the year, right? These type of people generally have a different outlook on life, guys. I mean, you kind of lose immediately the entire, I don't know, bro, cotton candy sky type of thought process that most of these like Gen Zers and like avid, high school students and college students are basically kind of going through right now. Like, you need to kind of get rid of that for a moment. And again, stop sending your kids to college, bro. It is not about the idea that it's no longer important. Specifically, it is. I do think that we definitely need intellectuals, but we don't really have many intellectuals. Like, we don't have any like a base for like intellectual, like deep thought conversations. I'm not sure Milton Friedman is gonna pop up in this Gen Z generation, not large scale. Right. So we have a problem here. We've lost the ability to critically think because everyone, for the most part, is a sheep. Okay. And that's what we're experiencing. That's what this is here. That's all it is. These are a bunch of kids, and they're definitely trying to kind of fit into a group. And what's cool right now with the youngsters, basically, is this. That's it. Think about what it was for you when you were young, right? Generally with age and land ownership and paying taxes and running businesses, let's say, and having a family, you immediately start to look at things a little bit differently, right? But if we're talking about this age group of people, bro, nothing that they're saying matters. Not really. Not for the grand scheme of things, guys. I mean, what value have they added to society? Truthfully. I get it. They're gonna be taken over at some time, guys, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But maybe what's funny is maybe when I was younger, I'm 38 currently, right? But maybe when I was younger, the people that were my age, 38, right, at least, or above 40, right, etc. Maybe, just maybe, they thought the same exact thing about me, bro. It could be, right? No, could be, all right. Could be, but either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, I'll catch you guys later. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.